Welcome at the podcast for interior design and architecture professionals beyond interior design. I'm Mark Miskis, your host for today, and together with Sven van Buren, we are running our own interior design studio, and we are the founders of Institute of Interior Impact. This institute is very important to us because our profession, especially for the outside world, is, well, too much about trends these days, about dragging beautiful stuff into a building, and we all know it's much more than that. So our mission is to connect interior design professionals from all over the world, because together we have the power to design this world, to make it better and even more beautiful, so we can grow as humanity. So great you're here, thank you. And while I am in the Netherlands, Holland right now, my guest for this next episode of Beyond Interior Design is on the completely other side of the world, Sydney, Australia. She's well known in the Australian design sector. She participated in several lifestyle home renovation television series, having partnered in the foundation of fantastic furniture, from concepts to a multi-million-dollar organization. This lady knows the importance of putting people before numbers to build a successful business. She's fascinated by human behavior in research to understand why people behave in certain ways, and how our spaces can frame those behaviors for the best possible experience, creating impactful and meaningful environments. And that's what we like. As an interior designer for over 20 years, the combination of retail experience and interior psychology have allowed her to become a successful advisor and designer to residential, retail, and commercial sectors. And today she's here to talk about the power of behavioral understanding. I'm pretty sure you will recognize some of her painfully funny examples and how a client can react on your well-meant, beautiful ideas. But discover how you can connect on a deeper level with prospects, with your clients, but also team members, colleagues, suppliers, and even friends and family, actually. Not only to understand them, but even more important, to make them feel understood. Get to know their communication preferences and desires, so you can create the best interior designs you've ever made. She's a wanted guest for talks and other speaking engagements, so we are very proud and honored to have her here in the Beyond Interior Design show. Here she is, live from Sydney, Deborah de Jong.
Yes, and that's a de Jong. That's a Dutch name. There you go.
That's a Dutch name, yeah. Yeah.
Thank you so much. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. Lovely to be joining you.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, we've spoken a few times, again, on social media, Zoom meetings, and I was like, I need to share this story with the other interior designers, because this is definitely beyond interior design. We're going to talk about psychology.
Absolutely.
Human behavior. And that sometimes is hard to predict, isn't it?
Yeah, it's look, the fascination is this: as interior designers, often we are expected to be mind readers as well. You know, it's not enough that we are geniuses in our field, and I say that tongue in cheek, and can conceptualize and create something spectacular. We also need to learn how to read what somebody else's spectacular looks like. And we've had a bit of a laugh about this, about what's your favorite client. My favorite client is the paying client, and taking a great brief, understanding the client, taking a great brief, but also delivering back on that brief is where the hard work is. You know, it's the reality is, as designers, we should be seeking first to understand before being understood. And before we need to understand anybody else, we need to understand ourselves. So fundamentally, there are four communication styles in the room, those that are listening and those who will be watching online later. Goal setter, lifestyle, stability, and information. Our goal setter and lifestyle are our outgoing temperaments. Our stability and information are our less outgoing temperaments. So our goal setters are our high achievers. You're the lifestyle person, so you're animated, you connect easily with people, you're outgoing, you've got no problem talking to anybody. Our stability person is far more conservative and reserved. Our information person was all about the details and spreadsheets. So you need to first understand who you are and how to potentially modify your own behavior to accommodate a client, because where it all starts is a great brief, right? And so if we're a goal setter and we're bowling in to take a great brief from someone and we're too aggressive, you're going to scare them. You're going to lose their business straight up because you're in taking it. And if they're a conservative person or less of an extrovert than you, they're going to be taken back and think, you're too much.
Yeah.
You are too much. A lifestyle person might be too gregarious in taking the brief. So understanding yourself first. If you're a detailed temperament, an information person, the brief that you take is going to be entirely differently. You're going to want everything spreadsheeted from pillar to post, all the details. Now, that's not going to work for the other temperaments. So understand yourself first and modify your behavior. You can then communicate with all of those temperaments.
We just dived in really quickly, Deborah, and I know you have so much to tell about all this what you call temperaments. Well, as you've heard, we have 4 temperaments. Maybe if people are in the show, if you're listening, you can take a pen and paper because it's quite cool. At the end of the show, we will give you some more insights on this temperaments, so you can check it out how you handle their strengths and struggles. We will provide something for you, I guess. So it's really easy to understand what we are talking. So you can really just listen to this conversation. At the end, you will understand it. So you told me about how to understand yourself first. That's really important because if you don't know your actually communication style, how can you find a great match with clients that would like you? Because that's the problem most of the time, right? Everybody's searching for this great, awesome client. And it's like, I wish I had those clients that love my designs, love my communication style, love my working processes. But if you don't know what you're doing, actually, you have a problem, right?
Yeah, you at the end of the day, you need to understand your client, yourself and your client, and modify your behavior where necessary. So, I know that if we had put it in a different industry, if we went to a doctor's office or a dentist or an accountant, and they were polar extreme in temperament, you wouldn't necessarily want to do business with them. They have to have what they call a bedside manner. Right? So they have to, if they're conservative, they have to warm their manner up so that they make you feel comfortable in the dentist chair, comfortable in the hospital bed. They need to make you feel comfortable in the accountant's suite. They cannot give you their skill set as well as their temperament. They have to take on a different persona or accommodate your persona. And as designers, we need to similarly take on a room side manner, where we're listening to ourselves, how we deliver, that we're not over enthusiastic to those who are more conservative. And we look at every designer is different. I look at I'm having a bit of a giggle now at 2 that I'll come to mind that you may know. One is John Hewson. He's a gentleman in Australia who is animated and gregarious and outgoing, and he had a post recently on Instagram, and the Instagram post was this. It was him, and it had across his head taking offers, and he had underneath it isolation and I never made friends. And John is an outgoing extrovert, wants to be with people all the time. Now John can navigate high chroma colors and movement and color, and so he wants you to crank up the volume on your enthusiasm when he hears you talk. He wants to talk about what it might look like, how it might feel, what we can do in that space. Another polar extreme friend is Callie Vandermeer, who you've met. Callie is an introvert and conservative. So he's all about the detail. And let me just touch and feel and see and read and strategize and penetrate and let me process. If you're gregarious like the John Hewson and flamboyant in your delivery, you're going to lose that client immediately.
Yeah,
and
they're
similarly,
they're not interested. They're not listening.
no,
It's like, I don't care about your details. I want to feel it. Yeah, and the other
that's
one is like,
exactly
okay, you can talk about feelings, but I want to read it. I want to show me the proof, or show me how that's going to work out, right?
that's
Yeah.
exactly right. We do have different ways of processing. So I want to talk about it as the goal setter. I want to talk about it. I
Yeah,
want to thrash it out.
let's go over the
Yeah.
4 types so people can
Go.
just well, I'm definitely the visual guy, so I first want to have the 4 types, and then I can listen really well, so I know where to put these people in the box.
Yep.
So
Yep.
we have the goal setter.
Yes.
We have lifestyle, we
We
have
do.
information, profile, and we have stability. So these are
Correct.
actually the four. Yeah. If we talk about the goal setter, that's the one who likes to discuss it, right?
They want to talk about it.
So if if you come up with your design, what's the first reaction when you will show the design?
Yeah, they're going to shut you down. And this is the tagline for the goal setter. Let's do it my way. You know, they are our CEOs and leaders. They want to take charge. They don't want you to take charge. They want to tell you, this is what I want in my home. This is what I want in my office. This I want in my commercial development. So you don't take the lead in this instance. You calm yourself down, you calm your farm, and you let them take the lead, and they want to talk about it. And you'll deliver back on that talking. If you wanted to see how to recognize them in a room, they're taking the lead, or they're watching to look for opportunities. You know, they're processing you and having a look, but they want to take charge. They're our CEOs, our leading managers. They like in their space luxury, and they like people to think they've done well. They want people to think that they have achieved a high success and status. They want to ensure that you know that they're successful and that they have achieved a status. And if they're walking into a restaurant, they want the best seat at the table. You know, they don't want to sit at the back in some quiet corner where it's quiet, but I want you to know that I've done really well, and I want luxe, and I want premium. So don't mess with me with that Scando stuff when you're specifying. You know, I want luxe, right?
Or this creative bougie talk or fake things. They're like, okay, whatever, do what I like, do what I want.
That's exactly right. And so you're talking about that fuzzy stuff and the warm fuzzy emotive. That's our lifestyle temperament. And our lifestyle temperament, it's all about color, and it's all about stimulation. It's all about engagement. It's all about how I will feel. They want to touch, feel, see, and they want exciting environments where they can entertain. They like space.
You're talking about the lifestyle, right?
That's lifestyle. Yeah. They want animation. They want arm room. They gesticulate when they talk, so they want space and they want to be stimulated. So you're a little bit of lifestyle going on there, right? In a temperament.
Definitely. I did your test, your DNA behavior test. So it was definitely lifestyle. And I knew it. I want to have fun. I want to have these cool ideas, and I want to convince them that their life is going to be more fun in a way. And if I have somebody on the other side of the table, and first it was really hard to deal with these people. When I started around 2008, there were some people, some goal setters that went to my website, and now I understand. So thank you for that. I was on television. I was in magazines. I had a Young Entrepreneur Award. So I had this status for them. But then they didn't know that when they were inviting me, they got this lifestyle person talking about all this fun and cool stuff and exciting ideas and whatever. And I had this guy just sitting with his hands on top of each other in the chair, testing me out if I was the right guy to do their amazing home. And I was like, wow, this is a kind of dream project. Why is he inviting me for such a big home? And I'm just getting started. What is it? Well, I think they got triggered by this status stuff on my website. They were like, I need to work with them. But then I had a hard job to get the conversation going with them, because he was talking about his job, what he achieved in life, about how he works with big multi-million-dollar companies. And I was just, well, this is what I can do for you. This is my price. They were like, okay, good price. Yeah, well, and what are you going to deliver with that? I said, yeah, I just do that. I do your home. I do your living room, do your bathroom, like we discussed. And he was like, I want this on paper. I want this on paper. Can you make a contract or a kind of form? Yes, I promise you. So what he did was shake me the hand that you will fix everything. Well, yeah, shake your hand. Problem, right? Can you imagine what happened with this project when I just promised him to do everything for a fixed
right?
price?
So whose fault was that?
Definitely mine. Definitely mine.
Right.
Yeah. Now years later, I know what to do, and well, yeah.
So the thing that we could have done in that situation with the goal setter is ask them questions that is about them. And it should be what. Ask them the questions, what have you been doing lately? What do you want to do in this room? What do you see for this balcony? What do you see in the bathroom? What do you hope you're doing in this space? It's all about them at the end of the day. It's not about I can, but yeah, it's let them discuss it. They need to thrash it out. They need to feel like they're in control. So read the room a little bit better, let them take control, take the great brief and deliver based on what they're asking for.
The questions is the magic tool. We have a questionnaire, live analysis, and we always do that because right now we have when Sven and me are working together, we have this rational and more emotional type. That's our ideal client couple. We call them Anne and Jeroen. We have names for them, and this woman is this lifestyle lady, and this man is kind of this information goal setter. So we are a perfect duo for that. So I can get the goal setter, I can put them into their emotions because we have the systems and profiles and paperwork and all these guidelines for them that they can open up to be more emotional. And we can show the lifestyle woman in most cases, like, hey, I can prove you that you never want to change your home again because this is kind of science for you. Although they're not interested in science, right? But they have a kind of natural feeling like, okay, this must be the perfect solution. And it is. So
the challenge then, I mean, you've idealized to your perfect clients, right? But they want two very different things in their home.
Definitely.
So our goal setter, it's all about the status. Our lifestyle is all about the fun and movement and color. So how do you navigate selling them the space based on they want to live in two different houses? I mean, they might want to be Goldie Hawn and his wife, Dawn. What's her name? Goldie Hawn and her husband Kurt Russell. They live in two different houses, married for a long time, but they live in two different houses. And that's my ideal client because they get to be in their own spaces and have exactly what they want. But how do you do it when you have to navigate two temperaments in one space? That's the real challenge. And that then you have to placate, being the word, placate both of those temperaments, make them both feel like they're getting what they want. And that might mean speaking to both of them separately and or together to give them elements or weave a thread of what they both want through the house. So for him, in this office, you can bring your clients in here and they will feel that, you paint a picture of status for them. But with our lifestyle, when you're entertaining his clients, the dinner parties you can have here look like X, and she can suddenly feel and see the excitement and the movement and color that she has in their home, the status for him and the excitement and engagement for her.
But it's like the goal setter that he doesn't care about these parties, but he cares definitely about his parties, but he doesn't care about the details of the party and how it looks like and which color. He said, when I can organize them, it will check the box, and then he stopped talking about it. You have to switch to the lifestyle person to get in detail, get to know what the ultimate party will look like.
That's exactly right. And it takes a skill set to do that. It's not just automatic for us as designers, because you do get excited about your design. You come up with something that you know will work for them or you think will work for them, and then selling it back to them is another matter. So it's understanding yourself, how you deliver, because you know what? You might be too much for some people. How scary is that? I'm too much for some people. At the end of the day, they're not your tribe, but they might be your clients. So you have to accommodate that. Understanding yourself, understanding the clients and the differences with your clients, and then how to sell back to those clients, because the best clients are the paying clients. Right?
Again. Well, we're still talking about this goal setter according actually more to the lifestyle type. We use the lifestyle type here as an example. It was my test result, but I think a lot of interior designers, they do things on intuition, on feeling. They know it's the best for the client, but sometimes it's hard to understand why this is the best idea for them. So they take 14.3 versions, 27.7 to find out what they really want. And then you can have a client that comes back to well, I like the thing from version 14.2, and let's combine it with the other one. And they get lost. They have a long trajectory project. They're gonna hate each other maybe because the communication style was not right. So how do you fix it? But I was with the goal setter, if you ask them the right questions, they will come up with the right answers. And these are really, that's what I like about the goal setters. Well, first I didn't like it. It was like, okay, you have an opinion like that. You need to open up if you want to make cool stuff. You need to open up.
Yeah.
But they have a vision. They have a vision already. So
that's right.
And they can write it down really concrete for you, actually. So if they say it's gonna be red, it's red. And that can be really nice if you like to work with that. Is it?
Yeah. Yes. If you contradict what their thought or their hopes are, that's where the challenge lies. From an illustrative perspective, the expectation. It's navigating the expectation. They might have a vision in their head that doesn't quite work out, and you've delivered based on that vision, and it hasn't quite worked out. Or you're saying red. From a color psychology perspective, red makes you hungry, angry, irritable, attract flies, and want sex. So you know what? They might have this great picture in their head of red, but it's the worst color in the world for the dining room. You want to get in there, have a quick feed, and then leave straight away. So, we've got to be careful about taking a brief, because the problem with goal setters is they think they know everything, and I'm sure we've had a few of those clients ourselves that know better than you. Why am I paying you when I'm telling you what to do? So it's navigating a little bit of ego, understanding ego and leadership, and navigating the same.
Yeah. And actually, when people have, we all want this high premium paying clients. And the thing is, most of the time it comes with a successful lifestyle, financial wealth. They are doing something great in their life, business-wise,
already,
money-wise, system-wise, processes, outsourcing, delegating, and then you are there with your creative mind.
Yes. Yeah, but that's where your partnership works well. I mean, obviously Sven's a very different temperament to yourself, and you can dovetail. And I guess if you're delivering, and I've seen this time and time again with leading architects and designers in Australia, where they'll go in as a partnership, and where one stops, the other one will pick up. If you're selling it back as a team, you can meet each other's shortcomings and or pare it back or lean in, to do the sale.
Yeah, well, you're already having your team a different perspective on things. You can discuss it with or without your clients. Sometimes we have open discussions with our clients where we both in the discussion. We're like, okay, maybe we are going to fight with each other today, but it's good because that's always the best outcome, because we combine all these visions. But what can you do for the goal setter to work with them? Because if you have this, let's call it a successful premium paying client. They don't want to waste time. They want to get the maximum outcome. They want to pay you generously, but you need to do a very good job. If you're wasting their time, they don't see. Well, how can you act as a designer to work with them really well? What do you need to do?
Look, I think you've got to give them what they want. I mean, that the tagline for a goal setter is, "Let's do it my way." So give them what they want. And if they're saying, this is what I want from a design perspective, or a template. The thing is, they're not into the detail. So they will paint they're visionaries. So they will paint a picture. You can supply the detail, but here's my top line. This is what I want. I want a luxe den, for example. Now you can go and create that luxe den with a million things, but give them what they want. They want a luxe den. And give them what they want, allow them to speak about it, and let them have their way. While also, and it is that push and pull, let them have their way. But if they're going to make a mistake, just bring them into a space of, let's talk about this. Let's resolve any challenges you've got by talking it out. And once they actually see, they're not set in stone. If you're making sense and you come with your facts and your figures, they're happy to see it and say, okay, I got it.
That's I guess that's the proof you need to give them, I guess. I was talking about details, but not into the details now. They want to kind of prove that they know that you are going in the right way, and then they'll really relax, and you have all your freedom as an interior designer, isn't it?
Then feed them back
Yeah.
what they want to hear. So
Yeah.
what you're doing is you're saying, okay, you want a luxe den. I got it. They need to be heard. They need to know that what you're
Yeah.
saying is understanding exactly what they want, and you are going to deliver what they want. And if you come back with a brief or a design and you say, this is going to be your luxe den,
Yeah.
they'll say, okay, he's heard me. Okay, don't like that or that, but generally luxe den, you know?
And in
Yeah.
my opinion, is if you ask them, can you show me what a luxe den is for you? They can say, I was in that hotel, or I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm in a luxe den. You're the interior designer. So what I think what I do most of the time is I'm going to show them what I think it's a luxury den for them, but I do it in a by questioning. Do you mean a luxury den is a den with some big bold sofas, marble walls with lights behind? Oh, I never saw that one. Marble lights. Well, that's cool. That's definitely a luxury den. It was never there, but if this is in my house, and then they know that you have the proof and you have all the freedom. That's at the end,
right.
you can get all the freedom to design
That-
because they know you are the expert because they invite you in the first place for that, isn't it?
That's exactly right. If
That's
you're
a funny thing.
if you've got that's exactly if they've got an interview with you and they've invited you into their home, they've already done some research.
You're in. Yeah, you're in
Yeah.
actually. Yeah, you don't have to be scared anymore. You just have to ask them the right questions and show
That's
them
right.
really quickly to prove that you understand them, and they stop talking and you can do whatever you want because they have
That's
the money.
exactly right.
They can have it.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, cool, is it? Yeah, I saw them as a problem when I started my own company, and now I love those clients because
they're decisive as well.
yeah,
They're not
definitely.
going. Whereas, like an information temperament, it's all about the detail.
Yeah.
They want to do their research from pillar to post. These are the people turning up with the Excel spreadsheets, the calculators, they've already done all the research around it, and then they cannot come across the line with a decision because they're so bogged into the detail. It's difficult for them to sign off on anything. They want to do a little bit more research around that. And or have you seen this that I've researched? Can I show you this that I found elsewhere?
The information profile.
That's the information temperament. So and it's all about how much money they're spending and how we could spend it more wisely elsewhere. So I'd always prefer to work with a goal setter, take a brief from them because they're direct and they know what they want, as opposed to someone like an information temperament. They need to know that this is going to survive a tsunami and an atomic, bomb and Third World War. This is because I'm going to put my 50 cents or my 50 euro into this build. It needs to be sustainable. It needs to save the world. And we need to make sure it's not human trafficked, and that's hard to specify for sometimes.
they could information types could write a blog actually if you want to attract those information type, because that's really funny. Sven is more a kind of a researcher, so he wants to know the options, the innovations, technicalities. He wants to know how it works, and that's great for me. Because he just telling me in one sentence, this is the best product we have to fight. But if I see, for example, we want more daylight in a great bathroom, attic, luxury den, whatever. And I said, we need more daylight. We need a window, a roof window. For me, it's just, we draw a roof window in the 3D model at first, in the first place. I just want to show them this is a roof window. Look how the space is changing and what the daylight comes in. But then the next week or the next day, we have the next appointment, like, okay, we're going to discuss more in detail. They have done research to all the roof windows in the world, which is the best product, the prices, the manufacturers, the durability, sustainability, the triple glass, double glass, colored frames, whatever. I'm like, okay. And I'm just like, which one would you like? Just tell me which one you like.
Now that you've done my research for me.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah. But it's amazing how they can be busy the whole week, not with this feeling or not that, do I like the color? Do I like the material? No, with all the details. So actually, another thing, you can think, okay, I want to spare them all this energy. But in the other way, they're still, as the goal setter, if I'm wrong, correct me, because you are the behavioral analyst, but this reminds me of all this situation. They actually said yes already to your design, of the roof window. So I'm like, okay, ching, I did a good job. But you just want to have the detail at the end. But they said yes already. They're not changing the
That's
roof
right.
window.
That's right.
And that's funny.
Yeah. It is that they are in agreement with your design, but they want the detail ad infinitum. And as complex as that is, if you're not a detail person, work in conjunction with them. You use their information, use their research, acknowledge that yes, they have researched well, and yes, I think you're right because they also want to be right. They have spent their time to find the right product, so acknowledge their rightness and use their research for your design in their home or in their so I think you have to work again. It's the push and pull. You have to give them what they want at the end of the day. Yeah, and give them their research back. Pat them on the back for being diligent, and use the best product that they've selected.
And yeah, they need to feel they're part of the team, part of the research team. Huh? Yeah,
absolutely.
It's really they're doing their thing, their part. They really have to be involved in the process. Yeah,
absolutely. We've also got stability now. This is an entirely different temperament. Let's do it the easy way. There's always tomorrow. Let's always tomorrow. We don't want the stress. We don't want the struggle. We don't want, I look at your temperament and you're a lifestyle stability. And so there's part of your temperament, which is, why do we need all the detail? I just need you to just make it easygoing. Let's find that you're laughing because you can recognize yourself, but let's make it colorful and movement and noise and fun and buoyant. But you know what? I don't want it to be a headache in the process. It needs to be easygoing. You are fortunate in that you can get a business partner that knows all the information, that can study the detail for you and apply that. But taking a brief from a stability person, it's all about they're naturopaths and easygoing, and there's always tomorrow. And I think of Hawaiians or Tahitians, and we have a saying over there is it's coconut time. There's always tomorrow. And so I mean any beachside country or suburb is like that. We want it to be easygoing. We want the environment to be relaxed. We want it to be conducive to relaxation. What they want to feel in their environment. They want to feel it's a place they can go and read a book and not be disturbed, and it's easygoing, and there's not so much color and movement. There's not so much high chroma in the space. And how do you take a brief from this person? It's all about how they feel. It's emotive. How would you like to feel in this home? It's about emotion.
What do you want what do you want to keep in the room, in the house, if they're renovating?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Still memories. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're quite emotional people. The stability temperament. So it is about sentiment as well with the stability people. They want to remember color reflectiveness, and I've mentioned this to you before. There's something called color memory, where a friend of mine sent a painting the other day, and it was beautiful, but it was in red and yellow and black. And it was beautiful, but it suddenly took me back to a blanket that I had as a child, which was at an uncertain time where we emigrated to Australia. And so the stability person, it's all about security around them. So you have to look at what is going to make them feel most secure. And it might be looking at a color wave or a pattern or a pastel or a beach environment where they felt secure as a child, and create a design based on that feeling of stability and security. It's all emotive. It's nothing to do with goal setter and status. They're happy just to have an environment that is conducive to rest, relaxation, comfort, and nurture. So it's a very different beast that you're dealing with. You have to dial it right down and ask them, how would you like to feel in this bathroom? How would you like to feel in this kitchen? What do you think you'll be doing here, and who will you be doing it with? And how will that create an environment for you to do that with? If they say, this is my library and I just want to relax and read in here, you have to play it back to them. When you are in this library, I can see you reading from this corner and relaxing. The sunlight from the detail person's skylight is going to come in, and I can see you just resting here with a cushion and reading the morning paper with a coffee. And you're selling them back on that. You're not selling them, this is the coffee bean that we've created the coffee with. It's a
Yeah, but
very different sale.
I feel it already because I have all these visuals were coming into my head. So definitely my brain works with this. We had a lot creating moments is a quote we are using in our business, because these
Yeah.
moments, if we can define those happiness, those moments, and we're gonna design those moments, that's for them the most important. And it can be
Yeah.
over detailed stitched windowsill from Indian water buffalo leather with insect stitched, whatever could be, or it can be just a wooden couch or a chair. They just pick up the dining chair from the dining table, put it in front of the window in the sunshine at 4 o'clock to drink a small espresso, and that 4 or 5 minutes could be their moment of happiness. If you just design that
That's
moment,
right.
could be enough for them. For the rest, you have the
Yeah.
freedom again. They say, I don't care how the rest will look like, but if I have those moments, you've done a great job.
Well, you know how you feel. I don't know whether it's that first cup of coffee in the morning, whatever it might be. For me, I'll have a large extra almond hot cappuccino. It sounds American, but that one coffee makes my day. I have set my day in order because I've had that one coffee that's made for me to perfection. And we as designers get to set people up for a great life, because life is made of moments. So if we have that great coffee in the morning, or that great hot shower, that extra pressure jet that you have specified, or we have the kitchen bench that's just clean and easy to keep neat, that wipe of the bench that we know has got, it's ergonomically designed and we can wipe it off. We're creating moments through that house to make their lives better. The question that I have to ask is, from a human behavioral analyst and design perspective, is our mood determined by our environment, or do we determine our mood by environment, or our environment by our mood? We can make people's lives happier by what we specify. We can set them up for a life of positivity, joy, compassion, nurture, self-love, love of others, productivity, just by our environments.
So
If we give them what they
design
need.
it. We really have the power to design those
You
feelings and moods.
That's exactly right. And opportunities to design spaces where it shifts your headspace. We can design to take away depression, to take away anxiety. I think of chairs that have a back where we feel cocooned and safe, where there's no predators attacking us. We can
primal
specify a
feeling.
chair that's primal. We can specify for an information temperament, and normally they're more introverted, a corner where they can go and retreat from the world. I was chatting with an information temperament girlfriend this morning, and I was talking about optimum housing and how she would like to live. And she said, I need a hole that I can crawl through when nobody can reach me. And that would be, an underground cave where there's no phone, there's no internet, there's no television. And I have a book and my reading glasses and a cushion, and that's it. Now you can create that incredible environment for her where she feels like, I'm in heaven.
Yeah. Or somewhere, she don't know where, but she's in her own universe.
Yeah, in her zone, And for us, for the information temperament in an office situation, they need all their details around them. I don't know about you when you get set up for work, but I need to have I'm an ordered person as well. My laptop, my water, my mouse, all of this needs to be in order before I can use this.
Yeah,
I cannot have, and if I have clutter, I can't get out. There's enough going on up here. I don't want the clutter down here. So similarly in the house for residents, do they want clean lines? Do they want stimulation? Is it a lifestyle person that wants the color and the movement and the excitement of a space that's animated? Or do they want really clean lines and pristine lines where they can look at functionality and their brains can relax a little bit further? So it's understanding yourself and how you operate, how you design, but also how you take a great brief and deliver based on their temperament. That's a science within itself.
Let's go back to the coffee, because it's a really sometimes we had a project. We did we translated their lifestyle down to the millimeter, really, and that's what they literally told us in their review when we did the whole house. They were said the whole lifestyle was translated down to the millimeter. So,
Wow.
well, I love that. That's the ultimate outcome for me. But we needed to put some espresso cups in the kitchen in the 3D model. But I didn't open all the drawers, all the closets. Sometimes I do, but I didn't know actually how they were using, what they were using. Was like, they will like this espresso cup. So we draw this espresso cup on the countertop. As he said, you were watching in my countertop, did you? You were watching. I said, no. He said, yeah, this black with green espresso cups. We have them. Do you know that? And she was opening a box. Yeah, she was opening a box and she showed me the espresso cup. She was like, what's going to happen? What was this? This was magic.
Amazing.
It was so cool. So, but you can imagine that for a goal setter. If you talk about coffee, let's talk about these moments, because this is really when you go to a live meeting for the first time with this person. Do you order the same drink? Do you order another drink? Do you get a cup, a glass, whatever? This goal setter, how does he use his coffee?
The goal setter.
How does it look like, a coffee for him?
Okay, so it's not fussy. That's the thing. He knows what it's normally a piccolo. A piccolo latte, you know, or piccolo, they'll just, what are they in it for? They're in it for the shot. They haven't got time to mess around. They haven't got time to sit and drink a large one. So I'm in, I want a shot and I want out. You know, I don't want to sit there. It's not laborious. They want to get a hard hit. It could be stronger than normal. Don't give me decaf. That doesn't equate in my world.
No.
They want a shot. Espresso. Thanks, Sven. Yeah, espresso. You want a shot. You want a hit. You want a little injection to get in and make the deals happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
The lifestyle, it's all about what are they going to make on top of my cappuccino that's pretty today? You know, I want a fern, I want a heart, I want my name written in Spanish, you know, I want what looks pretty and fluffy and I want extra fluff, you know, it's all about the flamboyance.
Yeah, and
the information.
A nice cup. Yeah.
A nice cup, yeah, and it's a good colorful cup. It's red and it's, you know, it looks aesthetically pleasing. I can hold it well. You know, it's all about the tactility, the information. It's all about what are the coffee beans made of? Where is the cup made from? Has the wait staff person washed their hands prior to making my coffee? You know, how much are they charging me for the coffee? Can I get it cheaper somewhere else but the same quality? And they're also similar. They don't want a large one. They haven't got time to sit. It's all about, they might not even drink the thing because they're psychoanalyzing the coffee. You know, they want to assess the thing and get it spreadsheeted and make sure that every other person in the coffee shop is aware that they've analyzed this thing, you know. And then we have our stability. They don't care what they drink, you know. They might put a little bit of rum in their coffee. Who knows? It's always tomorrow.
Why not?
Let's just relax and just, you know, it's easy. It doesn't need to be too hot or too cold, or it doesn't matter what cup it comes in. It can come in a takeaway or a china or it doesn't really matter. You know, they're not so much worried about that. They just want it to be easy. I don't want to wait in a queue and order my coffee and for it to take forever. I just want to go in, pay. I don't want to work out whether it's Apple Pay and pay with my watch or cash, or I just want to tap and out. You know, it's easy.
It's funny because sometimes when you get the deal at the table, there is a moment like you can go. It's like, okay, I have the deal. See you next time. We have all these arrangements set up. I will send you the invoice, whatever. But sometimes they offer you another drink, even when the whole talk is finished. Actually, yeah, you could say it that way. And otherwise, it's like, okay, I just signed the papers. Mark, thank you. Goodbye. See you next time. Then we go to start. And the other ones just want to continue the conversation and they offer you another drink. And it's so funny. You need to act on that one, is it?
Follow their lead.
Yeah.
Follow their lead. It's all about modified behavior. And you have to take their cues, you know, learn from their cues. If they're offering you another coffee, have the other coffee.
Yeah.
If they want to sign and be done, read the cues. You know, it's not about you. This is about taking a great brief, fulfilling a great brief, and taking the client, giving them what they want, and having a paying client. If I don't know how many designers you've seen where you can see their signature designs, they're all the same.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't make you a good designer. That makes you very structured in your thinking. It makes you very limited in your scope. A great designer will give you everybody else's thoughts and take a great brief and make their environments work. That's the multifaceted generalist doctor, as opposed to a specific style of GP or specialist. You know, you want someone who understands all of those temperaments and can feed back into it. We've got Leonido's coffee-wise lifestyle.
Yeah.
I don't even like coffee, so it better be pretty good when I drink it. Yeah. And you know what? The lifestyle temperaments sometimes will order a coffee and it will sit there and go cold because they're so busy talking and wanting. It's more about the experience of relating.
Yes.
That they get through a third of their coffee and every time they've got to zap it to get hot again because they've talked their way through its coldness 3 times.
I was lucky with the trend of cold coffees. I went to Spain and you could order a cold coffee. It was a few years ago. I had it for the first time. In my head was cold coffees? No way. But then as a lifestyle type, I was like, let's try that one. So when I have a cold coffee and I'm busy with designing at the location of the client, Mark, you need a new coffee. It's cold. I said, no, I don't care. And they don't believe me. They don't believe me. I think I need a hot one. I said, no, wait, I like cold coffees. They're like, okay.
Here we go. So we've got a giggle here. Ha, ha, ha. That's me. A lifetime of cold coffee and tea. And we get distracted. The lifestyle person is distracted. So they're living their coffee on the side and they want to chat and they want to talk. And you know what? They're happy to keep drinking it cold. That's okay. That's okay.
But the coffee can start at the moment of a lifestyle person.
That's right.
Really, it's activating a moment of fun or coziness or quality time with your partner or whatever. Yeah. Kind of
and again, it's what the importance around understanding whether they have a cold coffee or hot coffee or not is this. Nobody's wrong.
No.
It's not about a judgment. It's about this is their temperament. We have our DNA behavior. So we're fundamentally one of 16 temperaments, and you are born with it. I did a PI, profile index, personality index, and I came up with the profile, and I didn't like it because it said ability to listen with any empathy was 4%. And I thought, surely I must have been having a bad day. And I did it again. Ability to listen with any empathy is 4%. 4%. So that's 96% I'm not listening. And I had to actually go back and say, okay, why am I not listening? That 96% is problem solving. So don't and I can see the issue, see the problem, and I'll deliver back to them. But this is what I want to say. You are not born wrong. You are born beautifully and wonderfully made. And we are all individuals, so perfect for the planet. And without each of those temperaments and styles, the planet wouldn't revolve. We are what makes the world go round. You know, it's embracing differences and celebrating the differences, but understanding that our fellow humans also need to be understood. Seek first to understand before being understood.
Yeah, it's more. Yeah, that's exactly what we always say. Yeah. Make them feel understood. Instead, they need to understand you.
Yeah. And the best way to do that is to feed them back what you're hearing. So if they're saying, I'd really like a plush den. So what you're saying is you'd really like a plush den.
Just repeat the words. Yeah.
They're hearing your word. They're hearing their words in your mouth. So they know you're processing their information. Just repeat, and then design based on that plush den.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, it can be so easy, but most of the time we are struggling with those different kind of personalities. Like, I wish I had the same person in front of me. But I find out you don't want the same personality because it can be really hard work.
Then there's two cold coffees.
Yes, that's what's going to happen.
There's also their cold coffee. And 2 hours later, no decisions have been made.
Yes.
Because you've spent so much time talking that you can't actually consolidate information.
Yeah.
So Yeah, working with the same temperament doesn't necessarily always work.
You get stuck at the same moment with both of you. You don't have a solution. You don't know where to go. Yeah.
No, no.
So, well, thank you for sharing this already with all the temperament. I think we have some really recognizable, funny, painfully
Traits.
examples, like we promised. So, about the next level of interior design, because you were talking about all these styles and trends we have in the world right now. What do you see for the future? How can we grow as interior designers, as humanity, with the environment? How should we act on that with our profession?
Yeah, I think again, like the way that the world has been with the pandemic, and we haven't been through one of those for a very long time, and lockdowns, and I think from a financial perspective, there's been a lot of uncertainty. So the thing that we need to look at moving forward, obviously there's the planet in mind, so there's sustainability, but we have to design to put people's lives in a more blended, happy space, more holistically happy. You know, we have the ability to design to bring comfort and nurture and joy. And that's looking at your color psychology, that's looking at specifying from a sustainability perspective, but also looking at the individual and their heartbeat. There's nothing more wonderful than understanding the person and giving them not what they want, but what they need. And we can read past the wants, we can read past the budgets, we can read past the cold coffees and give them what they need. Harkin's saying, I always start with my Turkish coffee. Thanks, Harkin. Yes, that's a strong one, right? So,
and a sweet one. Yeah.
And a sweet one, yeah. So, you know, what does Harkin need at this point in time if someone was specifying for him? You know, how wonderful it would be to walk into a room that read what you needed and gave you exactly that, whether it was an essential oil or you know, a booster shot of iron or a head massage as you walk through the door. But we have the visual opportunity to give people that. And that might come down to calming the environment down for them. It might be in colouring their world for them. It might be any number of things. So how do we give people a sense of peace and security at such a time of uncertainty? Understand them and give them what they need rather than what they want.
Yeah, great. Yeah, I think we can add a lot of value in this world if we act this way with interior design. Yeah.
Look, the challenge is a lot of us have worked remotely, and we're going back to the workplace, which we have done. And when we come home now, the home is another place of respite, and it should shut away all of the stress and anxiety that we're seeing in the news and the media and in the workplace. And this should be more comfort than anything else.
Yeah.
Okay, so Sven's suggesting that we need to do a live show about coffee. I'm sorry, Sven, we got a bit hijacked there.
You do your own podcast, Sven, about coffee. Yeah. Yeah, he knows a lot about coffee. Yes, all the machines, all the beans, where to get them, the prices. Yeah, definitely. That's
so he drives you crazy, right? He drives you crazy.
No,
he's the man. He's the man that you love because he gives you all the details, but he's the detail queen. He's the king, rather. He's the terms and conditions to your signatures, and yeah, that would drive me nuts. But hey, we need you too, Mark.
And I like really that Sven is here because I really want to thank him. He's doing all the technicalities for the podcasts, all the links, all the landing pages, all this stuff where I'm like, just let me talk and do the connection with people. He's I'm going to fix this. I want to know how it works. I want to hack it. I want to do it my way. And I will get it. It's great. Yeah. So thanks, Sven. But you know it. Yeah. But sometimes we have a hate and love partnership when we are designing, and that we know because of our experience we always get the maximum out of it. And it's the same with clients that you don't like or that you find really difficult. It can lead to outcomes you were never there before, but you never had this combination of these human behaviors. So you were just going your own way, trying to sell that idea.
Yeah,
And they bring
absolutely.
in new stuff. You go to on another level somewhere, another layer within your expertise, and that's really cool. You can learn a lot from all these 4 types.
Well, the challenge. I mean, you're talking about a partnership, but so many practices are solo practices, and I mean, I'm looking at Robert and Petra, and so many here today online, and they might be in a practice on their own somewhere. They're actually obliged to become all of those things, and you can only present the way that you can present, but modify your behavior. There is a way that they can find out who they are. As I said, I'm happy to do a pro bono communication DNA profiling, because awareness of yourself is more important than anything else. There are people in the world who don't like you because of the way that you present. And you can modify your behavior so that more people embrace your services.
So yeah, we have a really cool thing, and so thank you, Deborah, because what Deborah de Jong is offering to the people that are here in the Beyond Interior Design live show is that we will send you a link, a free link for a normally paid research test about your own human behavior. So what I found out, I was a lifestyle stability person, and I'm an engager, and you can do the same test. So if you registered for the show, we will send you the link, and you get a really detailed explanation of who you are as a designer, how you can communicate, your strengths, your struggles, and how you can act on that with different, human behavior types. So it's really cool. I learned a lot from it already by reading. I will read it several times again, I guess.
Yeah.
To understand.
Well, it's your handbook. It's your handbook.
Yeah, it is.
You're basically in a snapshot showing your life and your world. And I think the same for Sven. If Sven saw himself, he would be surprised at how detailed he is. So Sven, we're looking forward to giving that to you as well, and better understanding yourselves and each other.
Yeah, so if you want to get to know who you are as an interior designer, as an interior architect, do the test, because you will have some really cool insights to handle, objections, persons, clients, prospects, family, friends, whatever. It's really cool. Yeah, so thank you for that. The 4 temperaments. For the people that are here in the Beyond Interior Design live show, we have a short Q&A session with Deborah. So if you have some questions, stay here. For the people who are just listening to the podcast on Spotify, Google, Apple, whatever, thank you for listening. We hope to see and hear you next time. Thank you very much.